Good morning, guys. I wanted to do a very quick video for you. So this is a topic that I'm familiar with. This is a topic many of you might be familiar with. And this is a topic you've got to get familiar with if you intend to go against the grain and you decide that you want to be an entrepreneur, a coach, a mentor, or a trainer, or in fact, anyone that's going to put yourself out there for the public. How to deal with haters. Now, I hate this statement so much, and it really irks me because this is something that we're told over and over and over again, and I'm starting to accept it as truth. When you put yourself out there, you will face criticism. You will, 100%, because you have to remember there are 7.6 or 7.7 billion people in this world, coming from different backgrounds, coming from different mindsets. What you say might irk them. What you say might really cause them to be introspective. What you say might awaken something bad inside of them. Or they might not just like your hair. They might just not like your face. You are going to face haters. So it's good to understand that before you dive into it. Because I know what happens. Typically, you start something, you think you're doing a great thing, you're here to serve the world, and you want to give as much away as possible. And then you read your YouTube comment, and then you see someone saying, oh God, he's a P word, he's a B word, he's a F word, she's a this, she's that. Someone comments on your body, someone comments on your face, someone comments on your dress sense, someone comments on your hair. And naturally, we start to feel a certain type of way, and it's understandable. I get it. It's hard. It's so hard to deal with, especially when you might get someone calling you out and saying you are this and you are that when you know that you are not this and when you know you're not that. So again, I want to kind of encourage you, if you are out there doing a good work, if you are out there providing a great service, if you are out there doing the best that you can do, you will get haters. But there are a number of ways to deal with them. Now, there are two ways in which I'm going to share. One of them you might not like, and the second one is really important. Now, some people think because we're in a public space and because we are out there as business people, we shouldn't react. So if someone says, TJ is a piece of poo, I would love to react and write something back and then say, well, you know what, you are a piece of poo. Or back in the days, I might go for the mum joke straight away, or I might go for something straight away, because in my mind, quite immaturely, if your intention is to hurt me or to make me feel a certain type of way, then my intention is also to make you feel how I felt. That's not a positive way of doing things. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, so if you try it with me, and if you say the wrong thing to me, it depends on the day, I might react and I might come for the mum joke, which is not a good thing. But I'm still learning myself. So let me teach you one thing that I've discovered over the last few months that have really helped me when dealing with what we call haters. Number one, if someone writes or says something to you, or you're arguing with someone, try this out. Take 10 deep breaths. While you're taking those breaths, you're concentrating on the breathing. It buys you 10, 15, 20 seconds to get a level head so you don't react. Reacting is the worst thing we can do as entrepreneurs because we then regret it at a later stage. I mean, for the first 2 minutes, you're happy. You're thinking, oh my God, I got them. Oh my God. It doesn't work because you're going to be held to a higher standard, which is really weird. As an entrepreneur, we're held to a higher standard than our customers or our clients or the general public. Again, that's just the way it is. Now, if we're held to a higher standard, it means we have to behave to a higher standard. Doesn't mean we're not human. Doesn't mean we're not going to slip up. Doesn't mean if you attack me, I'm not going to attack you, because you don't know where people have come from. So my background, if you had said something or done something to me when I was a little bit younger or less mature, would be to react. You might have found me knocking on your door saying, yo, you've been chatting a lot of, let's deal with it now. Or I might have seen you walking on the road, I'm with my boys, and we deal with it then. But again, we all got to grow up. And that's not the best way to deal with a situation. So let's go back to number one. Take 10 deep breaths. Now, I'm talking about 10 deep breaths that cause you to think about the breathing as opposed to reacting to a comment or reacting to what someone has said. In some cases, if you're talking to a spouse, if you're talking to a friend, if they're right in front of you, tell them straight away, what you've just said is not nice. And I don't want to react. So I'm going to take 10 deep breaths, then I'm going to react. Now, by the time you take 10 deep breaths takes quite a long time. You start to get a level head and you start to process the consequence. And this is the most important thing. As I said, we're held to a higher standard because we're here in the public. You start to process the consequence of what you might say, what you might do, or the image you might portray. Now, don't let anyone fool you. Every single person is different when they're in their house than when they're on video. Because I know for a fact, if no one was looking, the truth is I would love to rip someone's head off if they were to say something negative or untrue about me. But the fact is, you've got a brand to protect, you've got an image to protect, you've got money to make. And the internet is rather unforgiving. I've seen it before in other people's videos where someone might say, this person is a piece of this. And then the person comments and says, how dare you, you are this, this, this. And then the entire internet go for the professional as opposed to talking to the person who made the comment in the first place. So again, for the sake of protecting your name and protecting your brand, 10 deep breaths. By the time you do that 10 times, your logical mind starts to prevail. And then how you deal with that situation then is going to be your truth. Number two, and I wanted to address this because we are quick in this society and in this age to label people haters. How about this? How about they might be correct? How about if someone says your customer service is crap, or your product is crap, or this and this and this is bad? Maybe they are actually correct, and maybe they're just not a hater. Now, the reason why we label haters is because it's easier to label someone a hater as opposed to be introspective and actually consider what they're saying. Now, I wish I could talk about my book because it's actually right here in front of me, but I address it in my upcoming book called Untangling Success, where we talk about what we believe we know about ourselves most of the time isn't actually true. When I look into the mirror, I see this really handsome and beautiful and the best looking man in the world. But factually, that's not true. That's just our brain. Some people look in the mirror and they don't see something great, but many of us look in the mirror, we look at great angles and we say, oh my God, I'm really beautiful, or oh my God, I look great, or oh my God, this is me, this is that. But that's just by design. The mirror lies, especially when you are looking for justification. Sometimes you need an external voice. It might come across as a hater, but it might be something that you genuinely need because they can see you in a different light to what you can see yourself. So if someone says, hey, don't buy his training program because this is rubbish, then that might be an opportunity for you to actually be quite introspective. But again, if they've never done your training program, then of course label them a hater and label them as a critic. But if it's someone that's genuinely interacted with you and they've got some feedback, write it down, assess it. This is the key to growth. The key to growth is the ability to take information, dissect it, and see what you can add or implement in your life. So again, let's do this just before the end of the video. Let's take 10 deep breaths. I'm not going to do 10 because it's just going to take too long. But think about it. Do you see how long they take? They take quite some time. And if you do those 10 deep breaths, you're not going to be reactive. If your spouse says something to you, and usually you have an outburst, you might say the wrong thing. And that could have some irreversible damage. It could have some serious consequences. So as from now, take 10 deep breaths. And again, not everyone's a hater. There are many haters out there, but not everyone's a hater. I'll catch you soon.